What's up, gang? Welcome to another episode of Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman, the podcast that breaks down the biggest stories in and out of the ring. I am your host. My name is Mike Wellman. Thank you for hitting that play button. We appreciate you here, as always. We are back with another episode. This is episode 81 of Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman. If you can believe that. I can believe that. I can believe that. Which we're going to talk about a lot today on the show. Things we can believe in and things we can believe in. So on this episode, we are going to talk about Jacob Fatu joining the Bloodline, showing up on SmackDown. Folks, we are in for a treat on SmackDown with the debut of Jacob Fatu. Also, Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six have arrived in WWE. Creepy, scary, haunting massacre on Raw last week, which we'll talk about. And then, what was this, RF video? A shoot interview? Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas? So, we'll talk about the Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas interview. We're going to do a Liv and Dom update. Folks, things are heating up inside the Judgment Day, because now we've got people sending each other photos. There was already hotel room keys. Now we have Xboxes, chicken nuggets. To be honest, I wouldn't mind being Dominic Mysterio right about now. We've also got Money in the Bank coming up. A few of the qualifying matches already going down. We've got some interesting Money in the Bank participants. And we're going to preview Forbidden Door before we get out of here, folks. This weekend, AEW Forbidden Door. What a card this is going to be. MJF versus Hechicero? Are you kidding me? Weird. But that's what Forbidden Door, in essence, represents. So we're going to talk about that, plus a few hot takes, and whatever else we decide to get to on this episode. Like I said, episode 81. Joining me, as always, the meth with the mouth. He is the notorious Wrestling Fan Kris. What's up, Kris?
What's up, Mike? Good to be here, and I'm glad I was not in the gorilla position of any WWE show in the last couple of weeks.
Me too. Oh my goodness. We'll talk about that, but I want to talk about Jacob Fatu first. Yeah, I had a different introduction written for Wrestling Fan Kris, but I decided to call him the meth with the mouth. I just want to make a disclaimer. Wrestling Fan Kris does not do meth, to the best of my knowledge.
That's correct. Thank you.
So, let's get right into it. Man, so much going on in WWE. Getting hit with this Uncle Howdy stuff. We got to get to that. And then I'm watching SmackDown on Friday, minding my own business. Cody Rhodes is minding his own business. Solo Sikoa minding his own business. All of a sudden, Jacob Fatu shows up at the end of SmackDown on Friday night. This got me amped up. I just, on 10 o'clock on the dot on a Friday night, local news came on. I was charged.
It was a great debut. I mean, absolutely. He came off like a monster, like a superstar. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is great. So we'll talk about the new Bloodline in a minute. I actually do have the pen here, Kris, we'll get into some.
Oh, sure.
Got some stuff there. But yeah, so we're likely looking at Jacob or Solo Sikoa challenging Cody Rhodes, it seems like, at some point, maybe SummerSlam. And just bringing in the Guerrillas of Destiny, which they haven't really been called that, I don't think, on WWE TV yet.
No.
But we've got the new Bloodline, which consists of Solo Sikoa, would you call him the interim tribal chief?
I think that's fair, yeah.
I mean, he hasn't really asserted himself as the tribal chief, He says here and there, while Roman's away, he's the tribal chief, But so we've got Solo Sikoa leading the Bloodline. Then we have what did CM Punk call them? The wannabe Usos?
Yes, I think he did, yes.
The wannabe Usos, a.k.a. Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, the sons of Haku. And we heard the rumors that Hikuleo was going to be showing up here, joining the Bloodline. We heard WWE is copywriting the name Talatonga, which did they say Jacob Fatu's name on SmackDown? Do they refer to him as that?
I don't think they did.
Because, I mean, they're not going to name him Tala Tonga, are they?
No, no way.
That would be, this thing would be over before it even starts. They do that. You know? I hope not. So I hope I didn't just book that one into existence. But Jacob Fatu now, we've got this whole new bloodline. The bloodline that you've come to know and love over the past 4, basically, years. Wiped off the map. Yeeted off the map.
Yes.
We've got the new bloodline. Which this thing is all connected still because you have Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, the sons of King Haku. Right?
Yes. Yep.
Haku, former member of the tag team The Islanders, with the Tonga Kid, who was not Tongan, but he is, correct me if I'm wrong, the father of Jacob Fatu.
Yes, he is. Correct. Yep.
There you go. So these guys are now in the bloodline. Their fathers were on the hockey team, the New York Islanders.
Good catch. Yep.
And
nice.
And now this is the bloodline. I don't remember seeing Tama Tonga and Tongaloa when The Rock put up that big graphic of the bloodline. Were they on there?
They had to be on there.
Jacob Fatu was on there, and I pointed that out at the time. You know, if everybody remembers. But I don't know if they were there.
I mean, maybe they aren't, and that's going to be a little like a point of like friction later. Well,
we know it's like they're not related per se, but we know the connection is there, just being an Islander, I guess, with Haku being part of the family there, as The Rock has mentioned. So, but the point of all this is to say that the bloodline wasn't changed enough just by having Solo in charge and the wannabe Usos. Now we've got Jacob Fatu, which is going to take this thing to a completely different level. I think.
Definitely. I mean, he's going to be the one. He's kind of going to be like Solo Sikoa's like Solo Sikoa for Roman Reigns. He's going to be like the guy he sends out to just like hit people with like it won't be a Samoan spike, but maybe it'll be a super kick or whatever, just to like destroy them. He'll be the dog.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, he'll be the sort of enforcer now.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We'll talk about Solo Sikoa here for a minute, because Solo to me was that silent killer in the bloodline with the Mark Hunt gimmick that he had going. And Google Mark Hunt, people, right now. And there was that time where the crowd was just chanting Solo when everybody was in the ring, right?
Yeah.
And so he's got, there's a movement behind Solo Sikoa. Then he takes over, making poor Paul Heyman's life absolutely miserable these past few months.
That's right.
And, I don't know, man. I feel like ever since Solo put on that suit, he just hasn't really come off as like, like the type of a leader who would wear a suit. I kind of liked him better as this Polynesian street fighter who could kill you with his thumb.
Do you think that's what they're going for, or if it just doesn't work? I wonder.
Yeah, I think it's probably, for me, it's just not working, Yeah. Now, like I said, the silent killer, the enforcer, the hitman, whatever they wanted to call him, that worked for me. You can go all the way to the top with that.
Yeah, it's hard because he's actually I think he emotes well. Like, he's good at doing what he's doing, but he was just so much better the other way. I think that's what's happening. Like, we remember him as like that silent killer, the enforcer, and he was just so good at that. Now, even though his performance is not bad, I don't think it's bad. It's just not as good as that. So we're just like, all right.
And the reason why I bring that up is because A, we want Roman. B, we want Roman. And C, you remember the rumor that came out a while ago that WWE may have been worried that Jacob Fatu may start to overshadow Solo, right?
Yeah.
And Solo's kind of the focal point, at least of the bloodline right now. And now, to that, I said at the time, so what if he does? And also, it's likely to happen. But now it seems more, not like appropriate. It's appropriate for that to happen. I think Jacob Fatu should come in, couple weeks, couple moonsaults, show people the Samoan werewolf, introduce him to the WWE audience. But then, I mean, I get that Solo's character is that he's the leader of this faction, this version of the bloodline, but and I know that Jacob Fatu is, one of his subordinates, you would think, but I think Jacob Fatu is going to shine as long as they let him, and if he ends up outshining Solo, I don't see how that's a bad thing.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be, I think everyone thinks about when someone outshines a leader of a group, right? We all think of the Nation of Domination, right? When The Rock outshined Farouk. But this is different because if they have to, if Solo gets outshined by Jacob Fatu, he can kind of just like, they can work it in where he's the one, Solo's the one who goes and like brings back Roman, or he has to like go back and be like, sorry, Tribal Chief, I need you. And then he brings back them. Then he can kind of fall back into place. And I think that will be a lot better than if, you have nothing to fall back on. Like when Farouk was just like, I'm a veteran. Sorry, The Rock's better.
Yeah. So with Jacob Fatu there now, and with the bloodline kind of going back into a feud with Cody, at least some of the time, because this is what they do now on both shows, on AEW and WWE. Now, guys will just do run-ins. Like we had MJF facing off with Will Ospreay the other week. We had like CM Punk talking about the Gorillas of Destiny in the ring. He's like buddies with Cody, helping him out. But then he got obviously destroyed by Drew McIntyre. Mm-hmm. I don't know where Cody was to help out his new buddy at that point. But so, are there other baby faces that Cody can, rely on to team with here? Because you got to think Punk's wrapped up with Drew. I mean, is it just going to be Sammy and Kevin and Randy Orton again with Cody? Is this the new what was the Cody team? Cody in AEW, the Nightmare Family. Is this the new Nightmare Family?
Yeah, it could be. Maybe it's just that the bloodline is so menacing that they just have to get together and try to stop them.
Yeah, and I think that, if you're going to do Cody versus Solo at SummerSlam, you've got to have, like, Cody needs backup, right? Like, he kind of... Yeah. Like he had The Undertaker backing him up at WrestleMania, but...
they should probably do, like, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Gorillas of Destiny as well. Kind of like, if you're going to build a story like that, I think you need more than just Solo versus Cody.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
So, with this faction in the bloodline, and then Cody presumably forming a babyface team against him, and if they're going to do Cody and Solo at SummerSlam, do we think this is, are we already going too far here? Do we think this is a possible War Games? Do we think this bloodline faction is one team of a possible War Games or Survivor Series kind of match like that?
We're not going too far with that. That's great. Yes, that's happening.
Okay.
Put your pen out.
Well, so we've got the new bloodline as one team, right? Are they going against the baby faces like Cody and Randy Orton or whomever, CM Punk? You know what I mean? Are they doing that, or are we already... Do I got to get the pen out?
Oh, no. Are you saying, are we already going to Roman's bloodline? The bloodline versus bloodline? No, I think we're too early for that.
So you think that's like not even this year?
Yeah, that's not happening. No. That's like, it makes sense to do it at Survivor Series or in War Games, but I feel like that's going to rev up to WrestleMania, and that's going to be at WrestleMania. But maybe not. Maybe it's going to be even longer. Maybe it's The Rock. No, but The Rock's going to be out. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's the Survivor Series, though. Even though I would very much enjoy that. And I want that in a War Games now.
Well, The Rock... So we booked next year's WrestleMania main event already. It's already going... Rock's going over clean. But next WWE champion, The Rock. And also, The Rock has said he's coming back. His plan is WrestleMania 41 to have the biggest WrestleMania main event in history at WrestleMania 41. What do you think his plan is for that? It's obviously him against Roman. He's going to beat Cody on night 1, face Roman on night 2. So that's Roman and Cody and The Rock at WrestleMania.
Yeah, good point, yeah.
There's going to be some... You would think that these three guys are going to be involved somehow at WrestleMania. So this new bloodline... I don't know how long they're going to last without having to face the old bloodline. Like, I don't know how long... Like, Jacob Fatu is definitely an injection of new blood here into this Millionaires Club. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think we're getting like 4 years out of this new bloodline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Triple H is crazy the way they do stuff now. They don't have to even wait until like a Survivor Series, or they could already be planning next year's. They could already be planning the next 3 like Survivor Series War Games teams. If we don't know,
true.
But I do think that at some point, this new bloodline, especially with the way they've been treating just Paul Heyman, they're gonna have to face off with the old bloodline. And there's 4 people in this new bloodline. So if I was writing this thing, which I actually am right now, so new bloodline is Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, Tonga, and Jacob.
Yeah.
There's 4 of them.
Yep.
Versus the old bloodline, the OG bloodline, which is also part of this, calling them the OG bloodline. You have the returning Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Sami Zayn.
Oh, God. That would be incredible, actually.
Writing it down. I'm going to date it. What's today's date? 6/26, 2024.
Yes.
Folks, it is written.
I think you've convinced me. I think we're far enough away now from November, and I think SummerSlam is going to rev up the Bloodline versus Bloodline War Games. Yeah.
The Paul Heyman piece of this is interesting to me because he's obviously not being treated well, and he doesn't appreciate it, and he's definitely feeling backed into a corner, and that's not a position Paul Heyman likes to be in. So he usually pulls a rabbit out of his hat when he needs to, and I think that at this point we're either looking at a returning, regardless of this 4-on-4 business, we're either looking at a returning Roman Reigns to face off against his bloodline, or a returning Brock Lesnar to defend Paul Heyman against like a Solo Sikoa. Brock versus Solo, book it.
Another one.
But I mean, don't you think Paul Heyman, he's about to do something? Doesn't it seem like he's about to do something?
Yeah, he's not. I don't think that Paul Heyman acts this way, like just strictly as a wrestling mind. I don't think he acts this way if he doesn't have a plan, or they're not going somewhere with the character of Paul Heyman.
He's just laying it on so thick with how tortured he is being lately,
Yeah. And so but that's interesting. I don't know if Brock Lesnar is a Triple H guy. I think Triple H might be like away from Brock Lesnar,
I think the whole company at this point might be not interested.
They probably should be, but so that's good.
I think that they're putting in a few more checks and balances, legally speaking.
Is there any way that The Rock is the 4th member of the OG Bloodline?
I don't know. Not on mine. It says Sammy. It's written. It says Sammy.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. I forgot to look at the. What am I doing? Look at the. What did Tony Schiavone used to call them? Look at the format. Look at the format sheet, okay?
Or yeah, Bischoff, you see, this is what I do. I have a format.
Oh God.
So all this is to say that I think Jacob Fatu is going to be a welcome addition to the WWE. I think he's going to blow people's minds. I think he is going to outshine damn near everyone. How could he not? And I am excited for what the future holds for Jacob Fatu. I hope they don't try to suppress his greatness.
Yeah.
So excited for that. All right, let's move on now to some more scary, horrific events also occurring in WWE. So the other night, last week, I was in front of my television at 7:55 p.m. on a Monday. And if you've been following this show over the years now, folks, there was a time when Wrestling Fan Kris and I would joke around about what we would be doing with our time between the hours of 8 and 11 p.m. on Mondays, right? What would we be doing? Catching up on some old Ring of Honor shows, because this is before Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor. We'd list off all the wrestling shows that we would watch on a Monday night at 8 o'clock. Live Wire, Sunday, old episodes of Sunday Night Heat. Velocity, MLW.
Yeah.
You know, listen to wrestling podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Because the joke was at the time that Raw was like the least watchable wrestling show ever. You know? And aside from overall it just being a complete 180 now, I was sitting in front of my TV, 7:55 p.m. Monday night, just waiting, right? And, of course, we had the tweets. I don't even remember which official account it was. Uncle Howdy with the tweet right at Monday at 8 o'clock saying, "We are here." Okay, we're here. Why didn't anybody beef up security? They said they were here on the internet at 8 p.m. You know, because...
Major foresight.
Because that was a botch, you know? Somebody says they're here. They've been, taking over the show for weeks at this point now, months. And then all points have been leading up to this date, and they let you know straight up, we are here.
Someone's got to get fired.
So, I was watching this, and I didn't think it was going to be the end of the show. Because now we're like, to go back to me having the pen and all this stuff. I'm watching this show last week on Raw. Every segment, I'm like, are these going to be... Because I'm thinking they're going to lay out the good guy and the bad guy. There's just going to be a whole scene, right, in the ring. So I'm like, who are these guys going to come out and beat up? And there's like a Braun Breaker match. I'm like, man, I think Braun Breaker's about to get murdered. Nope. All these matches, Braun Strowman. I'm like, are they going to get Braun Strowman tonight? There was a Chad Gable match. And I'm like, Chad Gable, he's done for, right? But nothing happened all night on Raw. Then we get to the main event, which was a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Jey Uso wins the match. And I'm like, oh, this is the perfect thing. Jey Uso talked about the Fireflies. They're going to get Jey Uso. But are they going to get everybody in this match? Who was it? Was it like Gunther, Jey Uso, Bronson Reed, something like that? No.
Bronson Reed was there, right?
Was it McIntyre?
Yeah, McIntyre was in, I believe, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, are they just going to lay out everybody? Like, where are we going with this? And, no. Jey Uso wins the match. Oh, and earlier in the night, Drew McIntyre quit the company. He said, I quit this company.
Yeah, so McIntyre wasn't in that match. Yeah, he just quit. He left, yeah.
He quit the company that night. This is how good the show's going. You got people saying, we are here. Drew quits. This is like a day in my life at work, folks. and Drew goes to the back. Now we've become more familiar with the gorilla position, right? We know what it looks like now. And now that they've done these weaving one-shot camera takes where we're watching guys go, like Sami Zayn walked out from the outside of the arena in Canada, walks right in the front door, right to the ring. And we watched that whole shot, remember? So they're getting a lot better at these. We watched CM Punk walk out from behind him and all this stuff. A few people now. And we've definitely got a whole structure of a map of the gorilla position in our head now as far as like being a part of the set of the show. So that's cool that they kind of established that. And like I said, even on the night, they've established that Drew just walked back out and quit. Triple H was like, no, don't do it, man. No. Think it through, bro. Whatever he said. When you tell somebody who's quitting, they've had enough. There's the one guy that's like, don't do it, bro. You'll get over it. Go have a turkey sandwich. Come back.
Thanks, Paul.
Go. It's like, and he said it. Okay, well.
See you later.
Yep. You did it now. So Drew quits in a huff, and there was some other little goings on as well that ended up being very, impactful. Like Jey Uso wins at the end of Raw. There was actually like 8 or 9 minutes left, right, at the end of this match. Again, this is last week on Raw.
Yep.
So Jey Uso, he's like yeeting with the crowd. Then he actually goes out through the crowd, right? Important, because he didn't go back up the ramp, right, and wave to the people. Oh, all right, thanks for coming out. Good night. Drive safe. And then go back into the gorilla position. He went out through the crowd, total opposite way. So because while Jey Uso was doing this, yeeting with the crowd, people were getting murdered backstage.
Correct.
This was very well done. This was awesome overall, regardless of what happens with this crew and with the story and with everything from here. This was a great introduction, it kind of did make it all make sense to me. And then the interview that we'll get to in a sec also made it make sense. So how did this thing go down? There's nobody in the ring. Jey Uso's gone. The lights, we get that familiar lights shutting down. Right? Then we get this something new that's become familiar since Bray Wyatt's final return to WWE. The piano key. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. And then we get the door that Bray Wyatt came out of last time he returned. The door, and it's got like the stuff hanging on it, and there's like the light in the shape of the door frame, and then the door, this time the door bursts open, and we got this blue light that shined through the door, you know. So same, you know, the exalted one, Brody Lee light, and then the light shuts off, and there's smoke. And then we get the crawling, creepy girl, which, Chris, if you remember, when we first started talking about how this Uncle Howdy story is starting to creep me out and play out in a way like a horror movie on like 2 episodes ago, I literally referenced the movie The Ring scaring me as a kid in the scene where the girl climbs out of the well and then climbs through the TV. Like, literally wanted to like pause it and turn it off when I was watching it. And it's just interesting to me that, like, you know, now we get this demon girl coming out, crawling like the girl in the ring, which I thought was cool.
Yep, exactly like it. Yep.
So we get this demon girl, and she's crawling towards the lantern, the Bray Wyatt lantern. Or no, she stands up, right? She crawls towards the lantern, and then she stands up, and she kind of points like she did in the video. She points to the back. But we don't go back through the door. We actually go around and then through a curtain to the back. And this is where we see the chaos and murder that has unfolded here. This was like an episode of Stranger Things.
It was crazy.
This was cool. I like this, the way they did this, the way they wrecked shop here. Because you go back there, and the first thing you see is like, there's like fireworks. There's like electricity, like sparking, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you see some creepy person sitting on top of a big case. And you start to see bodies. And there's just people just laid out. And they were all anonymous people who were laid out, right? Because I confirmed, I thought one of them was Big Damo. Because one of the guys legit looked like Big Damo in the darkness and smoke. You know? I was like, I don't know why. The guy looks exactly like Big Damo here. I don't know who else it would be. But they were all just randos. But they were dead. They were piled high. These bodies.
Yep. Dead.
Dead people. There was blood splatter like the show Dexter. Somebody's head got splattered.
That was the craziest thing to me, yeah. It's just like there's definitely brain matter on the wall.
There's blood spray. And then we see the creepy guy, the first creeper. This guy was wearing like a creepy buzzard skull type mask. Then we go and we weave around and there's more bodies. And then we go around the corner and we see this big like nuclear mask, like gas mask, pig face monster guy behind the curtain. And then we see some more bodies. And the whole time it's like the ding, 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 which I thought was so cool. There's like background music to this.
It was great.
You know?
Yep.
So this was good. Just following along. I'm watching this now, right? It's like the end of Raw. And I'm just like, is this a dream sequence? Am I having a dream? So then, because it's like you're wondering what they're going to do next, and they're just, the camera, it's just one camera shot. And everybody's laid out. You presume all of the gorilla position is laid out. I mean, you would think, I don't know what happened to I don't know if Triple H, his alibi was for not being there, but you would think everybody that is in charge of producing this show, Bruce Pritchard, Triple H, whomever, is also among the deceased. But you would think that they're part of the laid out bodies. And then we do get one identified soul who is no longer with us among the dead. We cut over to Chad Gable, who looked like he got his brain smashed in on one of the crates and was just destroyed. He was knocked unconscious. He was not moving. He was not breathing. He had blood on his forehead like he got shot in the head, close range, with a gun. So after we peer away from the dead Chad Gable, and we start to see this like figure, and it's Uncle Mother Effin' Howdy standing there in the flesh in the tunnel of tents. And this whole setup, the backstage setup with the light and the kind of silhouette of him with the hat and the dreads and everything, and standing there, the final the reveal, like he's actually here. This isn't like a blip. This isn't like a mirage, an image. Like this thing is standing right here. I think that the element of it being in like the tunnel with the flimsy like tent setup made it like even more creepy. You know?
Oh yeah.
It just made it seem like there's like you're backstage at something, and there's a monster backstage. You know what I mean? And so then Uncle Howdy, he kind of like looks over at his pig boy, then he looks over at the skull boy. They start walking. Oh, and we also saw this big dude holding a hammer, a bludgeoning hammer, brother, and wearing a mask of like a strung out crystal meth bunny rabbit. And it was obviously Eric Rowan. I could just tell. And now Uncle Howdy kind of gets these guys, and you see now they're walking around like he's like assessing the damage that they just caused. So you got this scene, and it's like silence because everyone is dead. Everything is already destroyed. Yep. The only noise is coming from the sparking electronic wiring that we've destroyed. You know, it's like this is fucking creepy. So this was great. So then now we get Uncle Howdy. He's kind of like walking out with his crew. Like they've been planning this whole thing. If you've been following along, we've been building to this. He says there's a massacre coming. You know, you deserve it. It's going to come. The massacre is going to happen. There's going to be a massacre tonight. We are here. Then Jey Uso finishes his match. Boom. Goodbye. Look backstage. A massacre has already happened. This is like a Kill Bill scene. It's already done. Mm-hmm. And then now we see Uncle Howdy, and I like how the camera kind of weaved behind him. So we get him walking out like, oh yeah, we might as well go out to the crowd now that we've murdered everybody back here. And then Uncle Howdy goes out. They have their moment. He like looks over at Huskus and the Mercy the Buzzard, and then they stand there with Nikki Cross, and then we see them assembled. This is it. This is the Wyatt Six. You know, there's only 5 of them.
Yep.
I thought it was great. And then he grabs the lantern. Uncle Howdy says, "We're here." That's how Raw ends. This was our introduction to the Wyatt Six. I watched this video probably 10 times. Loved it. Loved the creepiness of it, the destroying thing, making things just seem disrupted and out of place and discordant. And then just the never-ending one shot of it all. I thought was awesome.
Great. Yes. Great shot. Great work by that cameraman. And I think it was also great work by everyone, because sometimes when you're, unless they're actually all murdered, sometimes when you're playing dead, you have to like, it's hard, you know, you kind of like smile, or you can't help yourself but like do something like stupid like that, or move. Yeah. Dude, I think everyone was so good. Even the Wyatt Six, they all were so menacingly scary. They didn't really move. They were just kind of there, like, look what I did. But they didn't have to say anything or move or do anything, and they were all scary. The atmosphere was great. I mean, I say this not as a diss. I think it was like, it reminded me of like a Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. Like, so good. Everything was so good about it.
Well, yeah, those costumes are really good at Halloween Horror Nights, and they're scary. Yeah. They're like monsters.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, is that these masks came from the same mask studio that worked with Bray Wyatt. So these are super detailed, super intricate. Everything has like a reference and a meaning. So we have Nikki Cross, who was wearing like this doll Abby the Witch type broken mask. Then we have Eric Rowan, who was wearing this rabbit, like I said, like a strung out rabbit mask. Obviously a reference to Ramblin' Rabbit, which was a reference to the criticism of Bray Wyatt's promos being too rambling. So he created the character of Ramblin' Rabbit to then criticize him on the Firefly Funhouse. So we get Eric Rowan dressed up as a human kind of... So we get this Ramblin' Rabbit, the Firefly Funhouse, that's all done. Now we get these attackers One of them is dressed like a rabbit, right? Then we get the Mercy the Buzzard mask, right? That was worn by Dexter Loomis, presumably. Or
I think so, yeah.
Or some other murderer. But he's wearing a malformed, like I said, like a buzzard skull. Again, a reference to Mercy the Buzzard, which was a reference to Bray Wyatt taking his inspiration from Waylon Mercy. And then we get the Pig Boy, right? Which this was like a gas mask with a pig mask, like intertwined. This was cool.
It's good, yeah.
And this was obviously Joe Gacy, who is now Huskus the Pig Boy, who again was a reference to Husky Harris, Bray Wyatt's original character name in WWE. And Huskus the Pig Boy used to eat a lot of chocolate bars and work out. Now he's just a murderer in human form.
That's right.
And then, we get to Uncle Howdy. So we've got all the characters of the Firefly Funhouse, all the puppets portrayed now in human form, right? So it's like, are these the human, have these puppets taken on a human form? And that was kind of like the plan all along, was these Firefly Funhouse characters were going to, show up on our screen as these murderous, bipedal monsters. Maybe.
I mean, I think as we're going to like the last episode of Raw with the, as you call it, the RF video, the shoot interview, I think it's more like there's these people who are affected by the Bray Wyatt or something like that, and they're just taking on the characters of him, like in like respect. That's what I get from it. I don't think we're supposed to believe that they used to be in the Firefly Funhouse and now they're like deformed creatures.
Well, yeah, because Uncle Howdy did go to all of their houses. If you're following along on the Twitch streams,
true.
He wrote them all letters and then dropped them off at their house. And he did reference their actual characters, like Nikki Cross when we saw her on TV, months back, just kind of in the background and nobody paid attention to her. We saw Joe Gacy getting tied up, abandoned by his followers. By Schism.
Oh, yeah.
And, So that was how we ended Raw. Then this week, so we didn't get anything on SmackDown from them, but then they started harassing like Pat McAfee's show. Now these murderers are bothering these poor gentlemen who get paid handsomely to I believe it's called talking shit, as Pat McAfee would say when he's about to get sued for what somebody says on his show.
I thought
we were just talking shit, dude.
I think this is probably, I thought that was your favorite part of everything that's happened so far, is them just shutting down Pat McAfee's show.
Shut down the show. I didn't even know it was the end of the show. I don't watch that show. I just saw the clip online. So, if Uncle Howdy and the new Wyatt family or the Wyatt Six, if they could maybe get Pat McAfee's show canceled, I think that'd be a real babyface move. No, just kidding. Everybody likes Pat McAfee. But yeah, so he's getting his shows glitching out. We thought something was going to happen with Pat McAfee, but it really didn't. I had that one written out too, but Pat McAfee apparently was missing in action from Raw because of a legitimate personal reason. So hope everything is fine with that. But when they said that, this is what they said on Raw: Pat McAfee's not here. His absence is unexplained, which obviously personal reasons. You don't need to. People can miss work, right? We're all humans.
Yep.
Doesn't need an explanation, right? As far as not being in storyline, but then. It's like we get what was the message that they're going to deliver something to the commentary team? Where was that? There was like a message. Was it a QR code or something that they said they were going to deliver something to the commentary team?
Oh, yeah.
I thought for sure they were just going to drag Pat McAfee out there.
Me too.
Which is, they really missed an opportunity to do that. Maybe that was the original plan. No, but... Yeah, if I was writing this one, I would have, they said we're going to deliver something to the commentary team later tonight. So then it's like you either bring out like a finger and say it's Pat's finger, or you just bring out Pat McAfee and just drag him out unconscious and dead. Because now we've learned people can come back to life. I mean, The Undertaker, he was a dead man for two plus decades of destruction. True. So he was dead and alive and dead, and he got killed, and then, burned alive and buried alive, and he would always come back. So it's possible to come back from the dead, and that's what Chad Gable did, because he was back this week on Raw.
Yeah, under Gable, if you will.
Cleared. Medically cleared. How did you medically clear this corpse? This reanimated dead body. What is he, a zombie?
If they don't have any vital signs, they're dead, so he's fine, good to go.
Yeah, what did you check? He has no pulse. He's dead. What consists of the medical process to clear a cadaver to wrestle? Yeah. He's dead. I watched him die. No, I didn't watch him die. But yeah, so Chad Gable, the death wasn't permanent. It was, it wasn't like they literally put like a knife in his head. He was just badly, He was just badly beat up, and they made it look so incredibly ridiculous that we have to say he was dead, just like everybody else.
There's nothing else to say. Yeah.
So, but then, they said they were going to deliver some message. So I don't even remember where this, how did I know they were going to deliver something? Was it in the beginning of the show or something? I don't remember the piece. I'm missing a piece here. But during Chad Gable's match, there was some glitching in his intro on his Titantron. There was glitching, and that's when we knew, Chad, just get out of there.
Yeah, what are you doing, Chad?
Just stop coming to work. Take a break. They're looking for you. So ultimately, we got, the lights go out, the smoke fills, and now the Demon Girl is back. And this time she has a little box in her hand, and she brings it over to Michael Cole. And there were dead bodies here too. More bodies.
There's bodies everywhere, yeah.
This time there was a crowd. What happened to those people? Who knocked them unconscious? What did they use? Did they bop them on the head with a lead pipe? Did they give them ether on their mouth and put them unconscious? How did these bodies show up draped over the commentary table? Did they just appear? What happened?
It's great. I don't know.
Why wasn't anybody talking about that when these guys are getting...
That's a good point.
Ethered.
Well, there's a match to go on, okay? We can't be worried about people getting murdered.
The show must go on.
Ugh. Jeez. Oh, no. Yeah.
So, Nikki Cross hands Michael Cole a box, and in it is a VHS tape that says "Play Me." And as I tweeted out from the @WWrestlingPod Twitter account, X account, I said, when a demon girl hands you a VHS tape that says "Play Me," you play the tape.
Oh, no.
You play the tape.
Have to. Yeah, whatever. What's going to happen? You going to die in 7 days after you watch the video? Come on.
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen if you play a creepy tape? So Michael Cole's what did I tweet? I also tweeted out something about Michael Cole saying this is the damnedest thing. He's he goes, because now Michael Cole's involved. He's not just commenting on the QR codes oh, another glitch, whatever. Maybe we got some bad weather here. Must be a glitch on the broadcast, folks. No, they didn't say that. It's that was what they said on Beware of Dog in your house. It's a big rainstorm out here, folks. But, so, Michael Cole, I got an honest question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
On a normal Monday Night Raw setup in 2024, do you think they have any a VCR to play a tape? Do you think they literally in that truck have a VCR?
No, absolutely not.
What need would they have for one? You've got to have phased these things out already. Yeah. You have no need to play a VHS tape. I had to borrow a VCR from Wrestling Fan Kris because I have a tape that I needed to play.
I would say that there's no VCR in the truck, and if they need to get a VCR at I don't even know if Radio Shack's not open. There's nowhere electronic stores, but let's just say Radio Shack's open, right? There would be none. You can't find one anywhere.
You have to go to a garage sale.
Yeah, well, maybe you could just send Uncle Howdy to someone's house and just start ransacking houses for VCRs. Yeah,
it's if you're going to give us a tape to play, maybe you could also give us a VCR to play it on. Uncle Howdy. How did you record this thing anyway?
Crazy of you to assume that there's a VCR laying around.
And what kind of camera did they use where they got a tape out of this thing? An SVHS camera? But anyways, the tape said, "Play me." Michael Cole hands off the tape to a production assistant, apparently. He's just able to hand tapes to people. And he's like, he looks into the camera and he's like, "This is the damnedest thing I've ever been a part of." And it's like, yeah, a demon girl just handed you a tape. I would say, yes, this is the damnedest thing you've ever been a part of. You should probably look down and see if your fingers have turned black just from touching that tape. So, we're getting the tape. We don't know when. He just hands it off, like, "Here, put this thing in. Pop it in. See what we got." You know, I'm sure that they, you know, watched this tape before they aired it on national and worldwide television.
I hope so.
But no, we got it later on. I don't even know how much later it was in the show. But Michael Cole's like, you know, "And now we're going to go to an interview with good old Uncle Howdy." No, they just played the tape, and that's what it was. Uncle Howdy just sitting there. And, watch this. This is going to be on the show, but Kris isn't going to hear it, so nobody cares, though. So we got Uncle Howdy, and he's sitting there looking at somebody. And he's got his voice, like, demonically disguised, and he's asking someone, he's like, and then he says, like, "Who are you?" And it cuts to Bo Dallas, and he's like, "Do you even remember who you are?" And Bo Dallas is sitting there, Taylor Rotunda, with Uncle Howdy. He's sitting there and he's like, "I am nobody." And this is what really got me. Uncle Howdy in this creepy voice is like, "There you are." Like, ooh.
Yeah.
And, yeah, no, they got into it here. This was a lot like, this reminded me of, like, when Jim Ross interviewed Mankind.
That's gotta be what they were going for, right? Because it definitely was that. It was so good.
And he's, like, pulling his hair out and punching him. It's, like, talking all about... But this is when we got the backstory on Mankind and Mick Foley in this interview. And they're, like, sitting there. And that's just what I thought. It was just JR being like, "Why are you like this? What are you doing?"
That was pretty good, JR. Wow.
"Damn it, King." So... You know, he says, "I am nobody." And I'm thinking, like, what are we, joining the Faceless Men in Bravos?
Oh, God, yeah.
And now, so we're doing an RF video here. Shoot interview. Uncle Howdy is doing an interview of Bo Dallas. And this is where things kind of took a turn. And he says, Uncle Howdy says, "How did you feel when your brother died?" Like, holy shit.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, what are we doing? So at first I was like, this is weird. And then I just immediately thought, just do it. Just go for it. Like, whatever you want to do it. You know?
Yeah.
Not like, obviously we don't want, like, stuff that is, you know, uncouth. But this kind of made it make more sense. Right?
Absolutely, yep.
Because Bo Dallas is Bray Wyatt's brother. We know that. And this also kind of brings that Becoming Bray Wyatt documentary into the story, because if you didn't watch that documentary, do you even know who this Bo Dallas is? Like, this is the Bo Dallas that we got introduced to in the documentary, talking about his late brother Wyndham, you know, and his vision and his accomplishments, going through all of his achievements in the documentary. But before that, he was in, like, the B Team with Curtis Axel on TV.
Yep.
Like, we didn't see this serious Bo Dallas. And now here he is, and Uncle Howdy is asking him questions. And he's asking him, "How did you feel when your brother died?" And he's like, "I feel like the only thing I ever cared about was gone."
There you are.
Ooh. Creepy, folks. So, he said the only thing in his life that mattered was taken away from him. And then Uncle Howdy says something like, what does he say?
All I ever wanted my whole life
He asked him about exploiting his brother's like
was to be like my
death,
brother.
right?
Yeah. And
I looked up.
And Bo Dallas says that they showed everybody last week.
Let everybody forget about what he stood for, what he fought for, what he believed in.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to let everybody forget.
They wanted to forget about me. They wanted to forget about all of us.
And Uncle Howdy is just like reveling in this moment of torture that Bo Dallas is reliving. And then Bo Dallas says they wanted to forget about all of us. This is the key. Because all of these people in the Wyatt Six, at the end of their previous characters, they were kind of like, being forgotten about. They were the Forgotten Sons.
That's right.
Oh, no, that was something else. Yeah, so saying that Bo Dallas is connecting that people were going to forget about, everything that Bray Wyatt stood for, forget about Bo Dallas, forget about the rest of the Wyatt Six, and now Uncle Howdy, you could tell, this guy his whole plan is to just bring out the worst in people, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's trying to get people to overcome their demons.
Yeah, I don't think so. Definitely not.
I think he's got nefarious intent, this Uncle Howdy being. But this was good. This was good. I thought it was weird at first. I'm like, Bo Dallas? Like, what are they... Is he going to kill Bo Dallas? That's where my mind went. Like, yes, kill him!
Yeah.
But, kill Bo Dallas right now. But, no, this was great. Because now it's like... Because we saw last week, it was Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six who attacked the gorilla position.
Yeah.
Which is now a new faction in WWE that consists of all the production crew and Triple H and Bruce Pritchard.
That's right. War Games.
It's going to be like the corporation, but it's the gorilla position. And so Bo Dallas is saying we showed them all. So now Bo Dallas is, he's admitting that he is the man behind Uncle Howdy, even if Uncle Howdy is this sort of second, sentient,
Oh, yeah.
entity. He's obviously inside of Bo Dallas, but also outside of Bo Dallas because he's cutting this interview with him. This was good. We'll see where they go from here. I like this. And the acting from Bo Dallas really just draws you right in.
I was going to say that, God, Bo Dallas, what a performance. Honestly, I loved Bo Dallas way back in NXT when he was being a corny, bully, guy where you're supposed to hate him, but he did such a great job. But, man, he did a much better, dramatic turn in that. He's very good. I don't think it works if he's not that good at that. And obviously he's actually, very upset about his brother's death. So maybe it's easy for him to do that. But, what a performance. He's doing, in that little clip, it's like this guy's legit.
Yeah. And like I said, it tied a lot of stuff together. Just any random questions you might have about, are we talking about Bray Wyatt's death? Are we just kind of vaguely knowing that he was the inspiration? No, this connects everything. Through line, straight through. The Wyatt Six and everything, right?
And it's like, now we know that Bo Dallas, if you didn't know, they're brothers. And also, we know that they're not spooky ghosts. Maybe they are spooky ghosts, but there are people behind it. So, that's fine. Because, we always talk about where they're going to go from, they're abducting psychiatrists and stuff, right? So what are they gonna do? Just kill everyone? At least now we know there's people behind them. They can still be spooky and murderous, but it's just much better this way.
Yeah, they're going more towards a serial killer group than a group of monsters. Even though thus far Uncle Howdy is still a supernatural person.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
he's
true.
He's a damn monster. That son of a bitch. But, yeah, so definitely pumped for where this goes. Obviously, people have both trepidation and already are criticizing this, saying, oh, let's see where it goes, right? That was the whole thing with Bray Wyatt, and it never really went anywhere. But I think it is a different scenario now. I think that they probably have a very solid plan in place and a solid direction to go. And thus far, they've been executing it on TV very well. So.
Yeah. I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can set up that gorilla position one camera shot without having a very good idea what you're at least going to do for a little while.
Yeah, they could have just never came back on TV. Obviously, I don't want that, but that was cool. That was just a one-off, awesome scene. Pretty memorable. So yeah, we got to move on here. We got to move on to a Liv and Dom update, folks. It's time for a Liv and Dom update. So. lately on Monday Night Raw, the topic seems to be this romance backstage between Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. I say Dominic Mysterio because, I mean, Finn Balor was the one that had her hotel room card, so I don't know what's going on. But this, I mean, she's the women's world champion. I don't want to besmirch her, but she is causing some drama in this crew. The Judgment Day is the women's world champion, Liv Morgan, because she is trying to hang out with them. I mean, they wouldn't even let Carlito into the crew. They kept telling him to leave, and she's just going to show up in the clubhouse next to the pallets where they hang their banner. But no, she's making some upgrades. She's moving in. Classic new girlfriend stuff here from Liv Morgan, you know. So she gives the hotel key. Finn Balor ends up with the hotel key. Okay, what's going on there, Finn?
Yeah.
And then she's, you know, coming out during Dom's matches. She's climbing on top of him, kissing him to end shows, kissing him after the show goes off the air, just like when Brett super kicked. Or when Sean super kicked Brett after Raw went off the air.
That's right, yeah.
Into the wheelchair. Nobody saw it. You had to be there. But then this week, she's delivering, and she's calling him Daddy Dom, right? And he's having to explain himself to all the boys in the Judgment Day. And Damian Priest, he knows. Something's not, he's not approving of this, right? So then he sees Liv Morgan coming out of the Judgment Day locker room. And it was just Liv Morgan. And Damian Priest says, Dom, I hope you are ending things. Classic friend move. Saying, I hope you are ending things. And Dom's not even there. It was Finn Balor, right?
Oh, yep.
Finn Balor is hanging out. I mean, this chick is sowing some seeds of discontent. And, but again, like I said, she's the women's world champion doing all this. And now this week, she's got them some tag team championship matches for Finn and Jordan Devlin, and apparently she gave him an Xbox.
Yeah, guess so.
This is getting a little stalkery girlfriend behavior here. You know, I mean, she gives Dom some chicken nuggies, quite a bit actually.
What a way to his heart.
Kind of a little bit over the top gesture here. That was like 75 nuggets. You know?
That was a lot of nuggets, yes.
Like,
poor McDonald's worker who had to do that.
This isn't, chubby little young Dominic here eating chicken nuggies.
Nuggets on a pole. Let's do it.
Chicken nugget on a pole match. Book it. But yeah, no, this is going places. Where? I don't know. But there's one missing piece of this, and that's Rhea Ripley. So Dom, I mean, I think Dom is kind of warming up to the idea of hanging out with Liv Morgan. I don't know the status of Dom and Rhea. I mean, she gets injured. Like I said, she's off the road. Mm-hmm. And now Liv Morgan is dropping off hotel keys, Xboxes, chicken nuggets, sending some pictures. And then, we got to talk about this. So she sends Dominic some pictures, and then he shows everybody in the Judgment Day. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, this is like 1997 Triple H doing shit like this,
Good point. That's a great point. Yeah. Yep.
Like, I don't necessarily... It's not that I have any problem with this as a story. It's just that I think it's a little too... I think it's like the wrong thing to try to reference, the wrong Easter egg to your sexual harassment lawsuit. Trying to drop Easter eggs. It's not really like funny. It's not.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. That's true. Good, because I think Liv Morgan's they're all doing a great job in the story. So it's like I didn't really think about that part. It is kind of gross.
It's just literally the first thing I thought of. It was like this, like it's on the screen still happening, and I'm like, they're doing this, like they're doing this to like make fun of the material in the lawsuit of like sharing explicit photos to make it so, you know what I mean? They're trying to make it like, haha, this isn't that bad. This isn't that big of a deal. So when it's not a big deal when Dominic does it, well then it's not a big deal when VKM did it.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So that part, I can someone just give me a QR code? Actually, I just need to scan a QR code. Can I get one? Can anybody just please?
Missing it, yeah.
I just need
get this man a QR code.
Just give me a little glitch. Give me a little glitch. But maybe if this was in QR codes, maybe then I'd be okay with it. But maybe if they put the documents from the lawsuit up on a QR code, everybody could read them.
Oof, I'd love to do that.
Then there's some texts that you could see in that lawsuit. There's some texts that are vile.
Duh, never mind. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, that's a QR code I don't want to scan.
Yeah.
No. But so I do think this is ultimately going to lead to the end of the Judgment Day and the return of Rhea Ripley, whenever that may be. And because like she could take as long as she needs, and this thing can just go on because it's just going to be like bam when she comes back. Yeah. So like Liv could like join the Judgment Day, and then it's just whenever Rhea's ready, whether it's January Royal Rumble, it's just like
what the fuck.
Okay. So it's like Rhea comes back. Like I said, it could be January, and it's just here to, ruin your comfort zone that you've established. Liv Morgan could set up like her own corner of the Judgment Day locker room,
Yeah.
Another classic girlfriend move: come into the space and take over. That'll be the next thing. But and I think that this is gonna lead to Dom is gonna go with Liv. Rhea's going to come back, kick them both in the face, and I also think that Damian Priest and then Finn Balor are going to be like, somehow, she's going to drive a wedge between them two, and they're going to fight. They're going to fight.
Yes, I agree. And I feel like, for some reason, when Rhea Ripley comes back, Dom's going to be all apologetic, and they're going to be together, and then he's going to turn on her and keep Liv Morgan as the women's world champion, and they're going to have a thing. That's what I think is going to happen.
And that's a good theory. Can you imagine, and you're Rey Mysterio, just watching your son get pushed and pulled in all these different directions, getting involved in these in this drama with his love interests? It's like, dude, we got a show to put on here. This is not why I brought you into the wrestling business.
I mean, in the storyline, he's like, good, idiot.
Yeah.
I'll beat you again at WrestleMania, dummy.
We can only hope. WrestleMania 41. Ray versus Dom. Please. Should I write that too? What's today? June 26th? We're gonna book our first match for Mania. I'm writing it right here, like on a sidebar, like in the margin. Mania 41.
Dom's daddy versus Daddy Dom.
Well, we're just gonna write out the card. I'm just gonna write the card, and I'm just gonna put Ray M for Mysterio. Versus Dom M. Dom M for Mysterio. And then just remember who I'm booking. I'm going to circle Rey Mysterio. And then I'm going to underline it like 10 times. Now it's booked. Third year in a row, Rey goes over. Let's keep the streak alive.
Book it.
I mean, you have to. That's who Liv Morgan should turn on. Turn on Dom and go with Rey Mysterio.
Oh, that.
Or no, maybe Rhea Ripley could do that. Turn on Dom. But I mean, she's already probably going to be pretty angry at what she's seeing. She doesn't really need to turn on him. Yeah. But yeah, Dom turning. Like he goes with Liv. Whew. It'd be.
I like it.
The whole thing with Dom now, where he talks. And you hear, boo! And then he says 3 more words. Boo! And then he gives the people the chance. Boo! To boo everything he says. Boo! And then all of a sudden he just starts talking normal. That's how you know how much they pump in. And it's not just, they pump in the noise. Yeah, they do, for sure. But the way they do it is like, Dom will say like 3 things. Boo! And then all of a sudden he's talking normal. How did the entire crowd know to all stop booing at the same time? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, he just goes like, okay, and then one more thing. Boo! Okay, anyway, moving on, and then it just stops.
There's like that old sign where you say applause. It just says stop booing. Light the lights on. Crowd, stop booing.
The boo light did not come on, so shut your mouths. We did not tell you to boo. I do like how the wrestlers are going against the what chants now. You know? Yeah, but we're going to talk about who killed WCW next week on the post show for next week. We're going to do it for the Patreon exclusive post show. Who killed WCW? We're not going to necessarily answer the question who killed WCW, but we're going to answer the question who do we hate the most out of all these guys they're interviewing? Because some of these guys are coming off like real winners, you know. And
well said.
But we're going to talk about the show, and we already know who killed WCW. So, all right, let's move on. Let's talk about some Money in the Bank. So we've had some interesting qualifying matches so far for Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank just about a week away now, coming up quick. And there's going to be some more matches, you know, qualifying matches. So on the women's side, we got Chelsea Green, winner of the match, Chelsea Green.
Love it.
Chelsea, future world champion, future women's champion, Chelsea Green. I would book Chelsea to win this match for sure. I don't care who else is in it. Did you see when she beat, it was Bianca, and who else was in the match? Chelsea.
Oh, I don't remember.
Hang on.
Was it Michin?
Yeah. So it's Michin, Chelsea Green, and Bianca Belair in the match. I don't know if Michin's a babyface or a heel at this point.
I don't either.
But obviously Bianca is a babyface. And Chelsea Green steals the pin, and the crowd goes nuts when she wins. It was great.
It was great.
So we're all on the same page. Put the belt on Chelsea. Done.
She'll be so great with the briefcase if she does that. That'd be so good.
I mean, like, she's the person to put it on. You know, obviously you could put Lyra Valkyria is in the match. She's obviously one of my new favorite wrestlers, Lyra Valkyria. I think she's great.
Mm-hmm.
But and I feel like they might just go with Lyra because she's kind of like the new, you know, up and coming person that they're trying to focus on, right?
Yeah.
The new contender they're trying to build. And
yeah,
and
then when they see a pop like that for Chelsea Green, they're like, "Does she need the briefcase?" I hate when they think that way, but they do.
Oh yeah, isn't that the best logic? Oh, the crowd's already cheering, so we don't need to do anything to make this.
Yeah.
We don't need to make any more money off of this.
That would be stupid.
So, on the men's side, wait, is that the only people that have qualified so far for the women's match?
And Io Sky.
Oh yeah, and Io Sky, a former Money in the Bank winner. Am I?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's not going to be Io Sky, as great as I think she is.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It's going to be, so who is in the match? So we've got Chelsea Green, Io Sky, Lyra Valkyria. Already, what a lineup in this match. Who isn't there? There's so many words that I'm trying to Google search at the same time right now. It's like women's Money in the Bank qualifying.
Oh, I got it. It's
Heaven forbid I would have prepared. You know,
SmackDown has on Friday. It's going to be Candice LeRae versus Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton, and Blair Davenport versus Indy Hartwell versus Naomi. Two of those we'll get. Oh, and then Raw will have Dakota Kai, Evie Nile, and Zoe Stark, and then they'll have three more. Whoever wins those three.
So you know it's going to be Ivy Nile.
Yep. I hope Tiffany Stratton, but is Jade Cargill really going to lose in that triple threat match? I don't know.
I would say Jade's going to be in the match.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, out of any of those names, come on, who's going to win? It's going to be Chelsea. Let's stop kidding ourselves. Then on the men's side, we have obviously Jey Uso, who I don't know. I think Jey Uso might win it.
I mean, look, I like Jey Uso as much as the next guy, but I need someone else to win. Please.
In the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, we've got Rey Mysterio, Apollo Crews, Aleister Black, Bryan Danielson, Baron Corbin, and a mystery man. Oh, no. Actually, no. It's actually...
Is that when Baron Corbin won?
Who's in this match?
Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable so far.
Oh, does the Speed Championship come with a automatic entrance into the Money in the Bank ladder match? Because Andrade is the Speed Champion right now.
Oh, man. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Carmelo Hayes. He was the one that got the upset win there, right? On the men's side. That's actually... You know what, to be honest, I think what you just said about, like, they don't want to do that with Chelsea, I actually feel that way about Carmelo. Because he's so good in the ring, and he's so good. He's even really good, like, in backstage segments and stuff, but he's almost good as, like, the antagonist, you know?
Yes.
And I feel like that's how they want to use him, as not the star, which is unfortunate because I think he's great, but he's, like, the one pushing everything forward for other people, I feel like.
Yeah.
So...
That's a good point, and that's okay for now. I don't think he's going to win that.
I would pick Carmelo to win, if we're, who's the best choice here. But
yeah,
and that's including like anybody because there's open spots.
It looks like the other two spots are going to be determined. It's LA Knight, Logan Paul, and Santos Escobar, and then Drew McIntyre, Ilja Dragunov, and Sheamus. So 2 of those, and I mean, I don't think LA Knight and Logan Paul are going to win, so Escobar will probably win, right? Because Knight and Paul are going to have their little thing. And then who knows about Drew McIntyre or Dragunov or Sheamus? Who knows? I would like McIntyre. I think it'd be funny. But
Logan Paul's already been in Money in the Bank, so I don't know if they need to put him in this again.
Yeah, please. Let's stop.
I think we should put Logan Paul in a Caribbean strap match against, like, Savio Vega. That should be his next gimmick match that he has to go through.
Savio's like 55 and like won in those matches or something. So
I think he's like, he lost to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's about it. Yeah, I don't know about Logan Paul. You could put him in the match, but like I said, he was in there last year. What do we need?
Yeah, Logan Paul has to lose his United States title to LA Knight, so let's just have that happen. Even though that's not even a match booked and the show is 1 week away, but still.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely some matches that Logan Paul hasn't, had yet that are still fresh and new. He's not like, they're still novelty matches. So
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, men's is a little bit. I don't know because you know what it is. It's a new day. Yes, it is in WWE. We've seen the rush of the Triple H choices, right? Like coming through the pipes. We've seen Triple H decision making happen.
Yeah.
I feel like we're even past that now. Now we're on like the second stage of it, which is like not just the Triple H guys, so to speak, Yeah,
he's kind of like, I got all these people over. Now we'll do whatever we want, even if they're not over.
And I'm also surprised they're not including, NXT in this. They want to make NXT such a, an equal brand. You would think throw some of those ratings winners in the Money in the Bank match.
That's a good point. I am surprised they're doing that too. I know.
Is Pete Dunne in this match? Do you think Sheamus is going to be in the match? Which match is he in? Sheamus against who?
McIntyre and Dragunov.
And Money in the Bank is in Toronto. I'm just thinking, can they screw Drew McIntyre over again somehow? How can we screw Drew McIntyre over here? Can we just move this show to Scotland and then have him lose big time?
I mean, it makes sense. Doesn't make sense that McIntyre's not going to win because Punk got his revenge, so that McIntyre doesn't get the Money in the Bank.
Oh, maybe Punk ruins another one for Drew.
That
would actually be good. But let's not. I don't think they're going to do that because that's almost
when are all these matches going to happen too? Like, I feel like there's so many matches that we're like waiting for that are just not booked.
Well, that's okay, because they have SummerSlam, and
that's true.
That's where they're everything. Because you got to figure Drew versus Punk would be SummerSlam.
Yeah, good point.
Well, actually, no, wasn't it that they're not sure about Punk, and they're just going to do it whenever he comes back?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about his injury. Yeah.
Hoping for SummerSlam.
Good point.
So yeah, I think they are setting up a lot, but it's just because I feel like they have more shows. All these bash at the castle in Berlin and Bratislava.
I don't mind when they set up lots of things. That just means we'll get them eventually if they're doing it right, and they're doing it pretty well. So that's okay.
Man, just Drew McIntyre losing at Clash at the Castle. That was some bullshit.
I knew it was going to happen. I loved it. I mean, they did a good job though for him doing it, but those people were so pissed.
I would be legitimately unhappy if I was at that. I would be like, why did you do this? Why did I come here? They pretty much killed that town, Glasgow.
I was just thinking to myself, they can never go back now.
If I was in Glasgow, that would be the last WWE show. I would be like, fine, you shit on me, I'll shit on you back. I'd be offended.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I just started talking about that, but because we didn't do a show after the Clash at the Castle, and yeah, that was just bullshit. Just an unfun ending to the show. Like, aha, CM Punk got another one. It's like, yeah, all you did was piss off 30,000 people into silence, mind you, not like rage, just like disgust, silent disgust. But anywho, that's Money in the Bank. It's coming up. There's some other matches on Money in the Bank. Right? What other matches are there?
We got Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, Braun Breaker. He's going to win.
Nah, come on. I mean, it looks like he's going to win, right? But they wouldn't give the title to Chad Gable, and they're going to let Braun Breaker have it. Come on.
Braun's got to destroy everything, He's like this, he's like a monster. He's already done more than Braun Strowman has as a monster named Braun.
It's a small scale to look at, but you're right.
In the Braun category, he's winning.
We got. Oh yeah, I remember Damian Priest versus Seth Rollins, right? And if Priest wins, Rollins can never challenge for the title as long as Priest is champion. And if Rollins wins, Priest must leave the Judgment Day. That's good.
Hey, listen to this, Chris. Ready? That was the sound of the world title rushing back over to the waist of Seth Rollins. That's how fast it's going to happen.
I don't know.
That's I could write that one in Sharpie.
Listen, I think Priest is holding the title because I think there's a certain Austrian man who needs to win the world title, and I don't think they're going to have that go from Rollins to him that quickly. So
that was just a good segment on Raw with Seth Rollins coming back, Damian Priest, and Gunther. To me, that's a good main event,
absolutely
setup. Just these two are gonna fight, and the winner is gonna face Gunther. And you think Gunther's gonna win the world title at SummerSlam?
Yes, I do.
Wow, that'd be epic.
But I mean, if Seth Rollins wins, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah.
So, add a little interesting layer to this match.
They just need to put that belt back on Seth Rollins and figure everything else out later. Seth Rollins, he's so great that when he's gone, you notice it. You miss him. And then he's back, and once he's back for a while, you kind of forget how great he is until he's gone again. And you're left with all these. Worker. I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say something Kevin Nash said. Never mind.
You should probably, whenever you're talking about wrestling and it's I'm gonna say something that Kevin Nash said, don't say it.
Hey, I heard this really great idea from Kevin Nash. It's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, no.
Hey.
So I'm over as fuck.
The finger poke of doom was over as fuck. It's like, okay, man. Now we've gone too far.
What a character.
Just because just to talk about the finger poke of doom for 1 second. Who came up with the idea when there's only one effing person defending the idea?
Yep.
Everyone knows it was the worst idea ever. Except one person's got something to say about it. It was a good thing.
I mean, I'm sure there's another person, a little bleach blonde man.
Just in the future,
Florida.
with other wrestling when we talk about wrestling things and when these wrestlers come out and talk about it and they talk about it again 20 years later and they say the exact opposite of what they said, just be mindful, and everybody listening, be mindful of who defends what, creative decisions. Mm-hmm. Because that's how you know it was their idea. Because they have to defend it. Because they can't remember if they've said, oh yeah, that was my idea in any of these various interviews over the last, 20, 30 years, whatever. So they just automatically defend their own ideas. So that's how you can tell. Kevin Nash is defending the finger poke of doom like nobody else is. That's how you know it's his baby, his idea.
Yep, and beating Goldberg with a taser. He loves that too.
Oh yeah, he had a lot. Although his original idea, I'm pretty sure, was just to give Goldberg the jackknife, and that was it.
1, 2, 3.
Just jackknife, So,
more on that next week. Can't wait.
Yeah, we're just ready. We're primed to talk about this WCW stuff, folks. We've been talking about it ourselves for weeks, and we will get to it next week on the show for sure. So we got more to talk about, though. We got to talk about Forbidden Door. All right, before we get out of here, we're going to run through some predictions of Forbidden Door. AEW is back with another Forbidden Door, and this time there's 2 doors. One goes to Mexico. It's like Narnia, but Mexico. Because we're getting some Hechicero on Forbidden Door. Pretty pumped about that. So, yeah, this is AEW is going all different Forbidden Doors. So, on this match, so there's an Owen Hart Cup match. Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi. Right off the bat.
I know. Ooh.
Jesus. This is going to be a great match. This is going to be a 5-star classic guaranteed. This is a dream match. Have they wrestled already? Takagi and Danielson? I don't know if they've... Because I feel like this is one of those matches where it's you want to see it. Have they just never done this? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I wonder.
But I'm looking forward to this one. This is it's hilarious that's the first match I said on this card is Danielson versus Shingo Takagi. And it's in the Owen Hart Cup, so theoretically we could be seeing more of Shingo Takagi.
That'd be good, yes.
Jeff Cobb has an open challenge for the New Japan New Japan World Television Championship. So maybe it'll come with a tape that says "Play Me," and we'll see who the television champion really is. Jon Moxley versus Tetsuya Naito. For the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, that's cool.
Should be good. Yeah, it should be all right.
Maybe.
Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy. This is going to be great. These guys, they were already in a match on Dynamite last week. Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I am not breaking any news by saying that, I know. But the moves these guys were doing were just so insane in a back-and-forth exchange on Dynamite.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. is great. And Orange Cassidy is obviously the face of AEW. AEW's most, greatest ever champion, Orange Cassidy. So
he's like the workhorse Orange Cassidy,
Yeah. Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa, like we've discussed with Mariah May in both corners, apparently. We're not predicting these. The whole point is that we're going to do predictions. All right, so Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi. I'm going to pick Bryan Danielson to advance in the Owen Hart Cup.
I agree, but I hope that Takagi wins so we get more Takagi.
I skipped over this one. MJF versus Hechicero. What do you think of Hechicero? What of his run so far in AEW?
I mean, he's fine. I wish I knew more about him. I wish they showed me more. I wish I was primed with some background and stuff, so I cared a little more. How can you go up against MJF? MJF is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very interesting match. For sure. I'm looking forward to this one. The AEW guys can't win every match, but MJF can't lose either, especially to Hechicero.
I know, it's they finally got some other promotions. AAA finally comes around, and they're like, all of you are losing.
I'm going to go ahead and pick MJF to get the win over Hechicero. Yep. Jeff Cobb versus TBD. How do I know who's going to show up?
Yeah, you can't pick that one.
I'll pick Jeff Cobb. All right, Jon Moxley versus Tetsuya Naito. You already know what it is. Tetsuya Naito regains the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes, and I love that. That's the kind of thing that we need to see on these Forbidden Door shows sometimes. So, yes.
Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy. I'll pick Zack Sabre Jr. to win.
All right. I like it. I mean, yeah. Because that's it. Who did Orange Cassidy beat last year? Did he beat... Oh, man. Whatever. Cassidy won last year. He's going to win. He's going to lose this year because you got to, like you said, you got to have it different. It can't just always be AEW guys winning.
Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa. I'm going to pick Toni Storm to retain
absolutely
the Women's World Championship.
Unless Mariah May finally turns, but I doubt it.
Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vaquer for the TBS Championship and the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. I'm going to pick Mercedes to be the champ.
So. Yeah, that's pretty smart, yeah. No question.
All right, we have at Forbidden Door a ladder match for the vacant TNT Championship, vacated by the injured Adam Copeland. We got Konosuke Takeshita versus Mark Briscoe versus Jack Perry versus Dante Martin versus Lio Rush back in AEW versus TBD. I don't know if that's TBD as one person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's probably one person.
TBD doing double duty. Just kidding.
Is it going to be? Who's it going to be? Atlantis? Like, who are we getting?
Yeah, Atlantis. Yeah, who knows? I will pick Jack Perry to win the title because it's all elite, baby.
I mean, there's a few choices in here. There's Takeshita. He just hasn't been on the radar lately,
Yeah.
Mark Briscoe, always a good decision. Jack Perry. I mean, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be Dante or Lio Rush. Who, I mean, are these guys back together, or are they just, like, kind of friends now? Because they were a team. Like, Lio Rush, Dante was working for Lio. And then that didn't go so well, and then now they're kind of bumping into each other in the back. And then, Lio Rush finally got to meet Darius.
Yeah.
Because he was out when Dante was partnering up with, like, everybody else other than Darius, because Darius was out. But, yeah, I don't know who the TBD is going to be. I'm going to go ahead and pick Jack Perry. What do you think of that pick, Chris?
I agree.
It's because you said it first.
It's okay. It's okay. Same, we're smart guys. That's all.
Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay for the AEW World Championship. This one is interesting because there's a lot going on here. There's another couple of big shows. Paul White coming up. All In, All Out. So I don't really know what the plan is. We do know that, thinking ahead, the winner of the Owen Hart Cup tournament is going to get a shot at the AEW World Championship at Wembley Stadium at All In. So I got a couple choices here for the Owen Hart Cup tournament. I mean, you could... my original thought was have Will Ospreay win this title at All In, right?
Yep.
So that's still possible. You could still do that. I don't know for sure. Do they have brackets for the Owen Hart? They might. I think they do, actually.
They do, yeah.
And is Will Ospreay not in it?
No.
Yeah. So then that's not happening.
Yeah.
Right. So we got to go with who we have. Who's on the board? We already know Bryan Danielson versus Shingo. I'm going to say the finals. I mean, I got to look at this bracket because I have a finals in my head. And there is still a TBD as well. There's a mystery person, right? In Owen.
Man.
Gonna get like 2 years ago's Owen Hart tournament. No, it was only
right.
last year. I thought I saw this bracket. This is last year. Darby Allin is not in this tournament.
I got you. It was Claudio against Pac, and Pac won. He's going to face the winner of Danielson Takagi. Then we got Ray Phoenix and Jay White, and then Jeff Jarrett versus a wild card.
Yeah, so this is my finals for the Owen Hart tournament. It's Bryan Danielson against Jeff Jarrett. And
I love it.
I don't even have to write that one because that's happening. They're on opposite sides, right?
Yes, they could fight. Yes. They could be in the finals. Yes.
Okay. I'm telling you, that's so. And then here's the hot take. Well, this is the thing, is because this could go either way, right? I think with Will Ospreay out of the picture, you gotta have Danielson win that world title at Wembley, right? Come on.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Because he can win it. He can have the biggest moment. Another one for Bryan, the guy who doesn't need any more huge moments. I mean, let's face it. Jesus, how many WrestleMania stadium main events do you need, brother? Turning into Terry over here. So, but yeah, you got to have Bryan win that Owen Hart tournament and then win the belt at Wembley because he can just give it back. And then you can still say Bryan Danielson is a former world champion. Everybody wins.
I don't mind that. That's not bad.
If there was one guy to win the AEW World Championship and then relinquish it, who is it? It's Bryan.
Absolutely.
There's nobody else can just win the. Okay, here you go. I did it. You know, it's like you're kind of doing a thing where it's like it kind of breaks up the lineage, and it's like, no, Bryan can do this because he's going to retire. He's already given us everything and then some. He deserves it. We deserve it. Give it to us. Tony
Please.
Khan signed the sickos. No. Because the other thing you can do is Jeff Jarrett wins this tournament, wins the Owen Hart Cup, and then obviously goes on to win the World Championship as well. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't mind him winning the cup, but the World Championship, I had to put my foot down there.
I told you the first time Jeff Jarrett appeared on AEW television, I said, he sees himself as the future AEW champion.
He definitely does.
You know what's funny is it was such a meme, like Jeff Jarrett, like, oh man, Jeff Jarrett, and then he's great. And it's like everything that we initially would cringe at Jeff Jarrett forcing himself into, like, oh, Jeff Jarrett in this, Jeff Jarrett again, Jeff Jarrett this. Now we're like, I want Jeff Jarrett to win the Owen Hart tournament.
Yeah.
Please, let's do this. Come on. Now, Jeff Jarrett a couple months ago had a ridiculous match. He was just out there just killing it dead, So that just showed me
I know.
Overall, like in ring, he's not bad. He's not bad.
He's not bad.
You can't say
that's
he's
actually,
bad.
For you to say that about Jeff Jarrett, that's a glowing endorsement.
You can't say he's bad. You can't. You just can't. And then especially the way he hustles around the ring now at this age, it's like,
yeah,
he's like the modern day Nick Bockwinkel.
Okay.
I mean, let's face it, Jeff Jarrett, he's basically the 2024 version of Kenny Omega.
If you mean that Kenny Omega can't wrestle right now, yes, you're right.
I mean, he's basically Okada and Omega rolled into one.
We should just call him 7-star Jeff Jarrett.
He's just break the star ratings. All right, so yeah, is Jeff Jarrett on this card, Forbidden Door? Why not? Why can't we get Jeff Jarrett versus Shingo Takagi?
Maybe that's the finals.
Can we put Jeff Jarrett in the three and make it a triple threat for the IWGP World Title and have him win? So we got one more match. Swerve Strickland. All that is to say, who should win the AEW World Championship match at Forbidden Door? Swerve Strickland or Will Ospreay? I'll let you pick this one first, Chris.
Swerve's winning.
Swerve's going to retain the title?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's tough because I feel like with Swerve and Ospreay, there's a lot, I feel like they could have a lot of matches, a lot of championship matches, so they could have like a series of matches, series of feuds, long years. I feel like these guys are like primed to be years-long rivals,
Which is great. I love that.
And I'm sorry, I'm just still thinking about, I just said that Jeff Jarrett is Kenny Omega. Yeah, so it's tough because like I said, I originally thought Swerve was going to go to All In, or not Swerve, Ospreay was going to go to All In, and that's where we get Ospreay as champion because I think Will Ospreay should be the AEW World Champion. So, do we do it now, or do we not do it now? This is the decision I have to make right now.
Yeah.
And I think if I literally got to, even if I just kept track of the booking decisions I would make, because I don't, I think you would find a lot of hotshot booking on my part. You know?
Yeah, regular old Vince Russo here.
I think I definitely wanted Sami Zayn to win the belt from Roman Reigns in Montreal at the Elimination Chamber.
That's true, you did.
I wanted Drew McIntyre to win the belt from Roman Reigns at the first Clash at the Castle. You know, I wanted Cody to win the belt from Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39.
We all wanted that, though. That's fine.
So, do I want to do that now in Hot Shot and put the belt on Will Ospreay right here and now, knowing that it will likely not last through the fall? Yes, I do. Put the belt on Will Ospreay. The AEW World Championship Forbidden Door ends with Will Ospreay holding up the AEW World Championship high. No, I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be...
Oh.
I mean, you know.
I can see it. It might, though. It's not the craziest thing.
It's better than a Judy Bagwell on a pole match.
Yes, we can all agree on that.
All right, we should probably get out of here. That about does it for this episode of Watch Wrestling with Mike Wellman. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for sticking to the end of the podcast. We appreciate you here, as always. We forgot to do a call to action at the beginning of the show, so you already know what it is. You already know where you can find this podcast. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, your mom's podcasts. Check out the podcast on social media. Facebook, we see you, Facebook family. Like us, follow us on Facebook. You do not want to miss these fire tweets on X, folks. Like I said at the beginning of the show, when a demon girl hands you a VHS tape that says play me, you play the tape. And you subscribe and you follow us on X at W Wrestling Pod on X. We are at Watch Wrestling Podcast on Instagram. Folks, we're going to have more Instagram reels. We are going to the Blitzkrieg Pro Luau this weekend. You already know what it is. We're there to see VSK versus Marcus Mathers.
That's right.
Yep. We'll be there. Hopefully we'll get some good reels because we want to get these viral moments, not you. But yes, find us on Instagram, find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter, subscribe to the podcast, youtube.com/@WatchWrestlingPod. And we look forward to not having any problems. So thanks again for checking us out. We will be back next week. Like I said, we'll be reviewing Forbidden Door, talking more about Money in the Bank, talking about who killed Turner, who killed Atlanta, who killed Crockett, who killed Mid-Atlantic.
Who killed Chad Gable?
Who killed Chad Gable? Like I said, that about does it. Thanks again, folks. What does this button do?